Ladies and gentlemen, we are live tonight for another edition of NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005, and it is the Nextel Cup Series custom schedule season at the Darlington Raceway under the lights for the Darlington 400. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we get into tonight's live commentary, full race live stream, NASCAR video game style on this Tuesday night. It is the final live stream you will see on the channel for about a week, 7 to 8 days roughly, until I get back from Daytona. I'll be leaving tomorrow morning, bright and early. Well, I guess before the sun comes up, so before it gets bright, but it will most definitely be early. And I won't be back until next Tuesday, and depending on the time, probably not going to stream until Wednesday next week is what we're looking at the next live stream. But plenty of content that will be coming up throughout the course of the week at Daytona. Prediction videos, post-race analysis videos for the races, race highlight videos, and much more. So stay tuned to the channel. I got some pretty good access for the Friday night truck race as well that I can't wait. Hopefully I can bring my camera into the infield, because that's where I will be for, not the race itself necessarily, but for the race. I like to see what I can do there. As far as tonight's race goes, we're going to be starting from the rear of the field. No practice, no qualifying. I was waiting for my laptop to update. I got home from work about 5:45, about normal time, between 5:15, 5:30, 5:45. I usually get home on my work days, but I had a software update, and I didn't have a chance to just cancel it and try it again later. As soon as I opened my laptop, it went right into the reset. So, unfortunately, we are starting the stream about an hour later, which kind of stinks for me. That's one less hour of sleep I'm going to be getting tonight before my long trip to Daytona tomorrow. But nevertheless, we'll see what's going to go down. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Cerebral Assassin, welcome to be the first one into the chat. See if you'll be able to find you in the crowds on TV. It's going to be tough on Sunday for sure, considering how many people are going to be there. And just in general, it'll probably be tough to see me on TV. But if you are there in person, say hi, whoever's going. I don't bite. I'll be there all weekend. Let's get this race underway. Fourth race of the season. Green flag is in the air. 292 laps is the scheduled distance for the 400-mile race tonight at Darlington. Elliott Sadler will be starting on the pole for the first time this season. And this is the fourth race of our custom schedule season as well. Greg Biffle already gaining a few spots off the start. 3 wide, it looks like, down the backstretch as he goes all the way to the inside. Into turn 3, slides a little bit. Entered really, really low, and that's why the car had a lot of lack of grip, I guess you would say. Biffle being aggressive early on. I don't think that's the right thing to do with no practice or qualifying. That time he sticks the bottom on the apron into turns 1 and 2, 3 and 4, a little bit sharper of a corner. It looked like we might have had trouble in turns 3 and 4 that last lap behind Biffle as there was some smoke. Everybody's still pretty much jam-packed together. Biffle slides again off the exit of turn 4. Still 3 wide on the front stretch. He's just trying to give as much room to the cars on his outside, with them being 3 wide pretty consistently. That usually doesn't work at Darlington. Still 3 wide and tight. Biffle a little on the loose side on corner exit. Now he makes contact for the first time with somebody, and it's with Rusty Wallace in the 2. Contact now with Ward Burton in the 22 as well. Sorry, that's rookie Scott Wimmer in the 22 car. Biffle calms down as he files himself back in line between the 22 and the 2. Derek Booth. Courtney Sorensi. And Ethan, welcome to the stream. Yeah, Darlington from the rear. Well, I couldn't really practice or qualify with my laptop going through the software update. I didn't have time to practice, so just kind of having to wing it, I guess. Safer to start at the back instead of qualifying in the middle, and say if I start middle of the pack, not knowing what the handling of the car is exactly going to be like. And as you can tell early on, Biffle's fighting a loose handling conditions at quarter exit. A little bit of contact in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Some of the crowded cars up ahead. Sadler has led the first 5 laps already tonight. Biffle has moved up 7 spots from the start. He's got a long ways to go to try to get to the front. He's coming in off his second place finish in the Daytona 500 on Sunday afternoon 2 days ago. Trying to back that up with trying to get back to victory lane today as the car just all sorts of out of shape. Heading into turn 3, contact with the 199 of Mike Murphy. Still side by side with Murphy into turn 1. So Biffle's been loose on corner exit, but that time he got loose on corner entry into turn 3. Didn't take much for the car to step out from underneath him. Tyler Burbeck, welcome to the stream. Also going to the duels now. Oh, sweet. Yeah, if you guys see me there, you can say hi. There's a lot of NASCAR YouTubers going to the 500 this week from what I've heard, so. I'll be at Daytona and I'll also be at Auto Club the week after. So I'll be going to the first 2 points races, and then I'll also be going to Atlanta, which is race 5, so. Going to quite a few races here early in the season. Last year, most of the races I went to were in June and July. This year, a lot of the races, well, I should say late May into early July, and a lot of the races this year I'm going to are kind of in this beginning portion of the season. Dirt Bristol's like race 8 or 9, too. I'll be there also. Went to 11 last year, 11 this year, and but with going to like 4 of the first 8 or 9, that means I'm only going to be going to about 6 or 7 the last, 25 or so races of the year. So they're not as, they're a little bit more spaced out, I guess, than last year. I'm not going to be going to 4 races in a row again like I did last season. Points races, at least. I guess if you count the dual races, considering that they actually earn points, I guess technically I'd be going to 4 races in a row to start the season, but I can see why you wouldn't want to count those. Biffle going 3 wide. The exit of turn 4 got a little loose, and he's just going to back right out of the gas. Thought about taking the risk, and then he got really, really light off the exit of the corner again with how low he was. Biffle's got to be careful, though. He may be burning the tires off the race car early in the run. This is a very, very tough racetrack for one, as it is. It's called the track Too Tough to Tame for a reason, but then you also got to put into perspective the fact that the tire wear is going to be very crucial tonight, not just because of the tough track itself. The track is even tougher because of the asphalt and the wear and tear on this racetrack. It's very similar to now. They had a repave here in the mid-2000s, but as of this 2004 season, it was a very, very rough surface. So pretty much the surface at Darlington now is about what this is, as far as the tire wear goes. I am not going to the Coke 600 this year. I'll actually be at the Indy 500 for the first time this season. First time ever. I was at the 600 last year. So I probably won't be back to the 600 anytime soon. I had fun with it though last season, but I want to go to Indy next year. I've seen a couple races over there, and none of them have been the Indy 500 yet, so make a shorter trip as far as drive time goes. He's got a lot of traffic in front of him again. On the inside of his teammate Mark Martin right now. Jamie McMurray just in front. Elliott Sadler still out in front. He's had a great start to the season so far. 2 top 5s for Sadler in the first 3 races, and he's finished in the top 10 all 3 races so far this season. He sits 6th in the point standings. Had a lot of good consistency, as there's actually 4 drivers who have finished in the top 10 each of the first 3 races this year, including our driver Greg Biffle, has finished first, and second, and has led 404 laps in the first 3 races coming into this one, including leading the most laps in the Daytona 500, despite the fact that he did not win the race. 3 wide off the exit of turn 4, Tony Stewart in the middle. Our Daytona 500 champion, Jeff Gordon on the outside, Biffle on the inside. Tony got a great Great drive on corner entry. He's going to hold off the 16, and he'll clear the 24 of Gordon as well. Great move by Tony Stewart. Maybe the only race you can afford, you're 4 hours away. Yeah, that, I went last year, and honestly, I think the experience of the Coke 600 as a whole is a lot better in person. The race didn't feel that long. Granted, it was also the shortest Coke 600 in history. As far as elapsed time goes, there was only 2 cautions for incident, too, so it did fly by. I think it was less than 4 hours, so pretty quick race for 600 miles. Oh, man, Biffle, well, there's the first Darlington stripe of the night in turns 3 and 4. A little tight in traffic. Jeff Gordon will make the pass for position on the 16. Biffle able to get back down in line on the bottom lane behind Gordon. Gordon pulls away a bit. Casey Kane now all over the back bumper of the 16 of Biffle. But Biffle's already up to the 19th position, was an 18th a lap ago before losing that spot. So he got his way halfway through the field, but he's starting to stall out a little bit. He had a loose condition at the very start of the race, but the car is tightening up in a hurry 20 laps in. Billy Kramer, welcome to the stream. Wasn't 2016 the year Truex led like 392 laps? At least you were at a historic race as far as seeing NASCAR history goes, though. But yeah, the pre-race hype definitely makes it feel like a really big deal with that race. On TV, it doesn't give it that justice. I've been saying it for a little while now. I think they need to bring the Winston Million back. Obviously, it wouldn't be called the Winston Million, but if they could bring back something like that again, that would put a lot more prestige in the Coke 600, because that was one of the races where you had the chance to win $1 million if you could win 3 of the 4 Crown Jewel events. Win 3 of the 4 Crown Jewel races, that would put more prestige with races like Indianapolis and the Coke 600, and therefore, I think the viewership would be up. I mean, if you go into the Coke 600 with a, you know, let's say Chase Elliott, for instance, fan favorite, has a shot to win $1 million, I guarantee the TV ratings are going to skyrocket up for that race. I guarantee it. And they're usually pretty good considering it's Memorial Day weekend anyway. It's, you know, tradition that race is always on that Sunday night, but it's, that would only add to it. Most boring race in history. No, there has been more boring races in history than that. I can tell you that right now. Granted, I'm somebody that usually has fun at the track. Like, if I see a race like that, I'd find it entertaining because I'd watch battles throughout the pack. I'd find some way to keep it entertaining, especially at the track. If you're just watching the leader the entire time while he leads that many laps, or the battle for the lead, which there pretty much was none the entire night, then yeah, I can understand where you're coming from. I always like following my favorite, like I'll follow Ryan Blaney and literally watch him almost the entire race, see how he's doing, what his battles are looking like throughout the field, try to keep track of his strategy throughout, as well as, you know, everybody else's as much as I can, obviously, too. So I find ways to, you know, keep my brain spinning while the race is going on. And I do that at home too. Just watching the intervals on the leaderboard, see where other guys are running when I'm not commentating the race for you guys. So I find ways to try to keep it compelling. Very rarely you'll actually hear out of me that it was a dull race, even if it is a dull race in most people's eyes. It beats the 2019 Busch Clash, I'll tell you that much. That was probably the worst race I think I've ever seen. Not in person, I've never been to Daytona before, but that was pretty bad. Biffle finally works his way around his teammate Matt Kenseth up to 8th place, also getting around Dale Jarrett in turns 3 and 4 as well. Elliott Sadler's just pulling away from the field. Biffle's been moving up position-wise, but as far as the interval on Sadler, he is barely closed in. He's pretty much been 4.5 to 5.5 seconds back for the really since the start. Wonder if he can get some clean traffic, if that will help. You would imagine it would probably help at least a little bit. Biffle working around Michael Waltrip for 7th, who's having a good run early on in the first 30 laps under the lights at Darlington. And Darlington did not have lights at the speedway at this point in time. I actually unlocked this. This isn't technically a fantasy track because Darlington is obviously a real racetrack and is still used even to this day in NASCAR, hosting 2 races a season now. But instead of 2-day races at Darlington, we'll have 1 night race, and the night race will take over the 400-mile event. We'll still have the Southern 500 late in the year. One of just 4 racetracks we're going to multiple times this season. Daytona was one of them, and you just saw the 500. Talladega is another, which will be the next race on this season. Darlington, and then we'll go to Bristol twice as well. We have not gone to Bristol yet in the Cup Series. We have gone there already in the Busch Series, and obviously we had 2 races there, in fact, in the Truck Series. Jerry Boiler, welcome to the stream. Go get him. We're working on it right now. Biffle just made a pass on Kevin Harvick, 4th position, driving underneath Dale Earnhardt Jr. Starting to become a little bit more comfortable with the cars. We're now 32 laps in, still caution-free, and for the most part, especially by Darlington standards, everybody's been pretty clean with one another. Biffle's made contact with a couple cars working his way through the field, and has gotten into the wall once in turns 3 and 4, but that's been about it. Dale Jr., though, back to the inside as he'll cross over Greg Biffle. Great move by the 8. Rookie Brian Vickers running in 4th. Good run for him early on at one of the toughest tracks, if not the toughest track in NASCAR. Biffle, the double crossover, getting back around Dale Jr. Big slide job off the exit of turn 2, but he had the 8 car clear. Biffle overdrives turn 3, though. Tags the outside wall. Trying to keep it off the 29 of Harvick, but he had a hard time when he kept bouncing off the wall. Not a lot of room to run side by side, as you saw there. Well, good thing you weren't deaf. Oh, I was looking at the chat. That's why I entered so low into turn 1. My bad. Look how much time I lost. Actually kept pretty good control. I backed it down enough that I didn't slide around everywhere. Yeah, I always wear earplugs every time I go to the races. Only 2 occasions I didn't and one of which was Martinsville last year, just because the hot dog line was like 2 hours and I couldn't get into the line to get my earplugs in time before the race started. I didn't want to miss the race. That's the only Cup race. And then Indianapolis in 2018, I just forgot to grab them. I didn't realize it until I got to my seats. I grabbed it before the Cup race because they ran both of them in the same day because they were both rained to a Monday. That was pretty loud too, but those are the only 2 times I've ever gone without earplugs for a race. But yeah, after Martinsville, I couldn't hear normally for probably like 3 days after the fact. I had that like feeling like I went to a concert the night before, but usually when I go to a concert, like throughout the course of the next day, I'll get my hearing back. But with that NASCAR race, especially at a short track when they're not, like it's all right in front of you. And they're not spreading apart. It's super, super loud. Brian Vickers is still holding back both Dale Jr., Greg Biffle, and even Kevin Harvick. Big block down to the bottom on Biffle into turn 3. Tiny bit of contact. Biffle trying to work his way around the 25 car. Vickers another block on the front straightaway. Biffle's just not able to get around the 25. Biffle just can't quite get the corner exit speed he needs to get around Vickers. And, well, Vickers shuffles up the racetrack. Biffle intimidated him. And Greg Biffle will take over 4th that way. That was a beautiful intimidation move by Greg Biffle. And Dale Jr. also got to get around Brian Vickers after Vickers' slip up in turns 3 and 4 that last lap. Good old intimidation button on the EA Sports video games. NASCAR EA Sport video games, at least. Biffle, the defensive line into turn 1. Dale Jr. starting to close back on him again. Jr. may be a little bit faster than Greg Biffle, but because he was getting held up by Vickers, Biffle was able to battle back and forth with Dale for a little bit and just trying to hold him off. Up the track goes Biffle into 3 and 4 again. Jr. couldn't quite get the corner entry to get down underneath him. Looks like there's a side-by-side battle for 2nd place going on into turns 1 and 2. Sadler's probably got about a 3.5 to 4 second lead right now over 2nd. Just continuously pulling away after qualifying on the pole. He's going to be the one to beat, it looks like, here today. This race starting in the nighttime. Not going to be a lot of track changes throughout the course of this one. It's going to be interesting to see what these teams can do setup-wise to try and get their cars handling the way they need to try and run Sadler down. Got a slow car on the back straightaway right now, likely having a blown engine on the inside of the racetrack. Plenty of apron, though, here at Darlington. They're able to stay out of the way, and it's Dale Jarrett. So one of the 2 Robert Yates Racing Fords have blown an engine. Jarrett also has had a good start to the season as well. 2 top 10s in the first 3 races. Him and Sadler worked well together in the Daytona 500 on Sunday rather, and unfortunately for Jarrett, he has DNF'd. He was in the top 10 early on today, and that could be maybe worrisome for Elliott Sadler. He had a lot of issues with blown engines last season. So far this year, though, he's finished in the top 10 the first 3 races. And obviously he's leading this one early on. First 45 laps, and he's got about a 4-second lead right now. Oh yeah, when they're getting up through the loudest part is if you're like on the exit of the pit lane, when they're getting up to speed during green flag pit stops. When they're going through the gears like that, it's super loud. It's kind of like that on road courses if you're on a long straightaway too. long straightaway while they're upshifting, like in an area like that where they're going second to third to fourth and next year to fifth. Or this year, I mean, to fifth. Probably the loudest you'll hear it because the RPMs are just cranking, and then they'll shift over, and then it'll start cranking again. And when you have them in a single file line with like 40 of them doing that, especially after the restart when they're all bunched together. It's kind of how it was on the front stretch at Watkins Glen. Road America wasn't bad because that was in the braking zone in turn 1 where I sat. Same thing with Mid-Ohio. Indianapolis was pretty loud in that area. Kind of similar to Watkins Glen because I sat on the front stretch and getting up through the gears. Greg Biffle getting around Jimmy Johnson. Johnson had a fast car at the Daytona 500. Wasn't able to get a great finish, unfortunately. Blew an engine after leading the first 7 laps earlier on in the race. Tried to cross Biffle over through 3 and 4. He got underneath him briefly, but Biffle beats him back to the gas and maybe got a little bit of a run off the outside lane to get the straightaway speed he needed to stay in front of the 48. And now Biffle rides behind Bobby Labonte in the 18. Battling Labonte for second. Biffle to the outside in 3 and 4. Be careful though, Johnson looking low. Kind of similar to a lap prior. Biffle to block the bottom now. War Given Racing Hub, welcome to the stream. So far the stream has been going well. Unfortunately we had about an hour delayed start because I had a software update when I got home, so I'm really sorry for that. Nothing really I could have done about it, just kind of happened. I couldn't get onto my laptop. So I was just kind of sitting here waiting for about an hour. It took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. Well, it took over an hour considering the fact that I got up here about 5:45 till 6. Biffle underneath Labonte for second. 3.5 seconds off the race lead. Biffle's clear off turn 4. Johnson to the inside of Labonte trying to follow to get back to third. Lap times have fallen off about 0.3 of a second during the run. 28.8, excuse me, but a 28.5 is Biffle's fastest lap in the early going. And Sadler hasn't even caught any lap traffic yet either, so he's probably just going to continue to keep this lead for quite a long time. We're in the final quarter tank of fuel at this point. A few laps ago, Biffle had hit low fuel, which would mean we'd have a quarter of a tank of gas left, and we'll be seeing green flag pit stops very soon. Both front tires now in the yellow as well, making the handling a little bit worse on the 16 as we're late in the run, but it'll be getting fresh tires here shortly. AP Sports, Tristan Games, Nothing But Fun 15, welcome to the stream. A few new viewers all in at once. Smash the like button, and most importantly, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. A lot of Speed Weeks coverage coming from Daytona starting on Thursday. I'll have my predictions video for the dual races out either Thursday morning or late Wednesday night, depending on what I can get edited that night after qualifying. I want to wait till qualifying so I know who's in what dual race before I do my dual race predictions, so I do have to wait it out a little bit. So likely no video on the channel tomorrow. Have race highlight coverage, predictions, post-race analysis videos throughout Speed Weeks, and some other related content at Daytona that I can't wait to film as well. Ryan Blaney fastest in practice. Well, that's pretty good. The Fords have been pretty fast in the super speedways in recent years. I wonder how that was going to carry with the next gen car, and they seem to be pretty fast, almost too fast, and NASCAR had to tell them to change whatever they needed to change because they were kind of shellacking the rest of the field as a collective group. It wasn't like it was just one team that was faster than the rest. That'd be one thing. Kind of like how Hendricks have been in qualifying in recent years. You know, they just kind of found something that a lot of other teams weren't able to find for qualifying purposes at Daytona, but Biffle in the wall. That's the second or third time he's grazed it in turns 3 and 4. That was probably the lightest of the few times he has, though. He's not gotten into the wall in turns 1 and 2 yet, the first 59 laps. Don't they have another practice tonight, though? I think they have 2 practice sessions today, qualifying tomorrow, duels Thursday, and then the Cup Series has 1 practice on Friday before the truck race, and then they have another practice on Saturday morning. Hopefully he starts on the front row. That'd be pretty cool. I'm hoping Biffle can qualify his way in tomorrow so he doesn't have to race his way in, but I just don't trust that team's got good single car speed. Elliott Sadler will pit at lap 60. That will give the race lead to Greg Biffle. Biffle will stay out to get 5 bonus points for leading his first lap of the race. So this is the first lap Elliott Sadler has not led tonight after leading the first 59. So he's led everything but the middle of green flag pit stops. Biffle will stay out on the racetrack for now in case we get a caution in the middle of green flag stops that he can try to lap the field here, or at least most of the field. Not everybody on the lead lap has pit yet. Elliott Sadler has been the class of the field so far. Biffle got to within about 2.7 seconds of Sadler right before he hit pit road. He's obviously losing time to him, though, right now, considering Sadler has already pit. Biffle got to stay out and lead as many laps as he can here again, hoping for a caution. And plus, this is a good gauge to see exactly how far he can go on fuel. For the rest of the night. Likely scheduled to be a 4-stop race today. No more practice. Did they have both of them today then? Already? I thought they were supposed to have 2 practices today. Unless they have a practice before qualifying tomorrow. I didn't think they did. The good news is the weather looks pretty good, knock on wood, for pretty much all week. I think the highest chance of rain is Friday night for the truck race at 24%. And Sunday for the 500, it's only a 2% chance of rain. So Sunday's looking good. Saturday's looking good. The dual races Thursday are looking good. Truck race, honestly, 24%. That's looking good. I mean, that's less than a quarter chance that it's going to rain. And that's like during the day Friday. I don't even think that's at night during the race. So this could be like the best Speed Weeks weather we've seen at Daytona in the last few years. Get everything in a timely fashion. I wish there was a long practice for every race too, Wargiven. Biffle will stay out 1 more lap. He'll pit at lap 67. So he's able to get about 7 laps led in. So he works his way into turns 1 and 2. That is true. It is Florida. And it's still 5 days away from the 500, so that could change. Right now, though, it looks nearly perfect. The weather's supposed to be in like the mid-70s, upper 70s most of the week. I think Saturday's supposed to be in the mid-60s, but outside of that, it's supposed to be nice for the other 3 days. Well, Biffle will pit this time. No adjustments during the first stop. It'll be 4 tires and fuel for the 16 group. And not going to look to repair any damage under this first stop of the race. So 67 laps is as far as Biffle made it on fuel. Maybe he could have went another lap or two, but he was going to play it safe. And the Granger Ford is on pit road. Restall Cup, welcome to the stream. Second practice just ended. Okay, so it was practice 2. I didn't see practice 1. I was at work earlier, so I missed the first practice, and then so I guess I got the second practice in. Guess that makes sense considering it's 7:30. Well, Sadler will cycle back into the lead, which you kind of figured. Jimmy Johnson cycles to second. Biffle will lose 1 spot in the middle of green flag pit stops. But interval-wise on Elliott Sadler as he gets up to speed, it looks like Biffle actually gained 0.2 of a second on him. Sadler dealing with a lap car right now, and I wonder if that might be part of the problem. So now Biffle's got about 8 lap fresher tires than Elliott Sadler. Sadler pit at lap 60. Lap 67 for Biffle. So 7 lap fresher tires. Biffle will be faster with as much tire wear as Darlington holds for probably about another 7 to 14 laps. Once it doubles that, the tires will start to even out. So for right now, he's definitely got to go, and hopefully he can get around Johnson pretty quickly for second so he can have a chance to run down Sadler before those tires even out. Because again, Sadler's been the class of the field here through the first half of our Darlington 400. McDowell was the fastest in first practice. Yeah, another Ford. I was kind of high on the Fords coming into the weekend, and single car speed looking pretty good right now, considering these were qualifying trim practices today. Biffle to the inside of the 48. Has to drop in line behind him on the front stretch, though, as Johnson got the run off the high side. Biffle's struggling to get around the 48 right now. Now he'll drive underneath him in the middle of 1 and 2, side by side for second place down the back into turn 3. And Biffle will be clear off of turn 4. So Greg Biffle has worked his way up to second as he tries to run down Sadler before these tires even out. Sadler in lap traffic. Biffle's first lap car he'll catch tonight. And the 145 car is right in front of him. He'll get to the inside of him very quickly off the exit of turn 2 and clear him down the backstretch. Pretty good race so far tonight. Still caution-free. We haven't had a caution-free race in the Cup Series, though we have had one in the Busch Series at Nazareth. We had 3 cautions in the Daytona 500 on Sunday. We had 1 caution in the second race of the year at the Dodge Raceway. Sorry, 2 cautions at the Dodge Raceway and 1 at the Daytona Road Course. So we haven't had more than 3 yellows in the first 3 Cup races this season. It's been fairly tame. Busch Series, on the other hand, at least on the super speedways, we've had quite a few cautions. I guess the other races excluding that, not so much. Kind of translating a little bit over to the Cup side, at least with the intermediates and the road courses. But we haven't had a road course yet in the Busch Series. Out from your hometown. Yeah, Bowman's also from Arizona. Couple more lap cars between the 16 and the 38 still. Biffle's been out of the pits for 10 laps now. He's got maybe a couple more laps with these fresher tires. The good news is, though, is Sadler's got a ton of lap traffic coming up in front of him. He's got about 6 or 7 lap cars kind of jammed in a pack, and some of them are going side by side. I don't think Biffle's going to get to Sadler by that 14 lap mark. Although he might if he keeps putting up and putting down these lap cars as quickly as he is. And I guess those other lap cars are going to get in Sadler's way. Sadler's probably going to catch him next lap. Next lap car in front of Biffle is blocking him. 198. Biffle drives under him in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Biffle holds the bottom. Should be able to pass him in turns 1 and 2. Oh, he got a little loose on entry. Never mind. Spoke too soon. Loses time to the 38. A little bit of a slide. Overdriving the corner just a tad. Biffle did a great job keeping it off the lap car who was on his outside on corner entry. Now he's going to have to try to set this move up again. Great exit to turn 4, and they'll drive right back underneath him, and he's right back where he was a lap ago on the inside of the 198 into turn 1. Doesn't drive it in quite as deep this time, but he still gets into him. Close quarters racing. Nothing transpires more than just a little bit of contact. 80 laps in, is still caution-free at Darlington. One of the Truck Series races went caution-free at this track. Of the 5 caution-free races we had in the Truck Series custom schedule season. Sadler's getting through this pack of lap cars pretty good so far, at least. Everybody needs to get hard for Menard down in the chat. We got Paul Menard right in front of Greg Biffle. We got hard for Menard, and Patrick Chatterley came up with stiff for the Biff in the chat the other night during the 500 as well, so that was a little bit of a new one. But I guess it works. Sadler and Biffle's getting through this giant pack of lap cars pretty good right now. Well, Sadler was until they went side by side in front of him through 3 and 4. Between Kyle Petty and then the 103 car. Oh, Sadler got into the back of Kyle Petty. That checks him up a bit off turn 2. Is he going to be able to get underneath him into turn 3? He puts the bumper again to Kyle Petty. 2 corners in a row. He's still stuck behind him. Off of turn 4, Biffle trying to look to the inside. Can he trap the 38 car behind the 45? He's trying desperately to get to the inside. It's going to be close. Off turn 2, side by side for the lead. Biffle trying to use Kyle Petty as a pit car. And I think he's going to be able to. And he does. And Greg Biffle will get to the lead. Off of turn 4, and he'll clear Kyle Petty as well. Biffle leads at Darlington for the second time tonight at lap 85, as Sadler has led over 75 laps here tonight. Biffle leads his 8th lap of the race. The only 7 he led before that were in the middle of green flag pit stops. These have been the only 2 different leaders so far. They changed the lead with each other twice, making now for, I guess, 3 lead changes total. Considering Sadler started on the pole. Sadler finally gets around Kyle Petty through 3 and 4 that time, and he's going to try to run Biffle back down again. I think Sadler's got a little bit faster of a car tonight. Biffle was able to catch him in lap traffic. Despite the fact he did get through it pretty well, Biffle got through it just a tad bit better, and he got to Elliott at the perfect time using the 45 of Petty as a pick. Now we'll have to see how Biffle can get through the lap traffic as the leader. So he hasn't had to pass any lap cars while leading in this race yet. Now Sadler's on the attack. Oh, yeah. Well, to me, it's beneficial. When the Clash started, I know it was an exhibition race, but... But I get what you're saying, though. But now it's like serious racing. From here on out. Excluding the All-Star race, but... We got a while till then. Now we have some serious NASCAR. We got big-time NASCAR on Sunday. The Daytona 500. Ooh, Biffle started drifting up the track. He barely kept it off Rocky Perry in the 143. He had him cleared, luckily. Oh, almost some contact. Sadler might have gotten into Perry off of turn 4. If he didn't make contact with him, it was definitely close. Biffle's getting pretty tight all of a sudden. Kind of felt that in the last run once we got about 20 laps in as well, and I guess he's about 22 laps into this run on his tires. Make that 23 now. I guess if I really want to get technical with it, NASCAR season for me started when the Packers lost their playoff game to the Niners. No, I'm with you on that one, though, attrition games. As far as the Busch Clash goes. We got a little loose in turns 1 and 2. Sadler closes the gap a bit. Sadler is definitely not letting Biffle pull away. This track's just so tough to pass. I mean, the only reason Biffle probably got around Sadler is because he used Kyle Petty as a pick. Next couple lap cars in front of Biffle are going to be a couple of former champions, Rusty Wallace and Terry Labonte. It's going to be a little bit harder for Biffle to make the pass. There's 3 lap cars single file in front of each other, so we'll see if Sadler can maybe use one of those guys as a pick to get around Biffle like Biffle did with him. Sadler lost a little bit of time in 1 and 2 that time around. Nearing lap 100 under the lights at Darlington. Already gone through 1 set of green flag pit stops. Still going to be a little bit before we get to our next set of pit stops. Took place for us between laps 60 and 67. Biffle was the last car to pit at lap 67. Probably got to see that window open up right around lap 120. Guess we're a little less than 30 laps away from there. Be here before we know it. Biffle closes on Labonte off of turn 2. Looks to the inside, trying to get there at least. He definitely doesn't want to get stuck on the outside. Labonte going to give plenty of room to Biffle down low. Biffle clears him with ease off turn 4. Trying to get to the inside of Rusty Wallace now as well. Into turn 1, so the veterans giving a lot more leeway to the leaders compared to what the generated drivers did. I guess Kyle Petty didn't really give Sadler much room. Okay, the former champions are giving a little more leeway for the leaders. At this point in Biffle's career, he's only got a couple wins. Sadler's only got a couple wins in his Cup Series career as of 2004, so I guess you could say a couple of the younger drivers in the series are going at it at Darlington. Love to see it. Biffle chatter the tires a little bit. Went just a tad wide in 3 and 4. Sadler took a peek. Couldn't quite get to that left rear corner panel of the 16. Luckily, Biffle wasn't close enough behind the lap car, so he didn't get trapped. But now they're side by side right in front of Biffle off of turn 2. That's going to make his life a little bit harder. He's got nowhere to go. He does gap Sadler in turns 1 and 2 at least. Oh, and he had a big power slide off of turn 2. And Sadler has a run into turn 1. He'll look low now. Biffle went down a little bit too low to try to get underneath the lap cars. Wasn't patient enough. Slapped the wall off turn 2. Biffle walks up the track again, and here comes Sadler to the bottom for the lead, and Biffle again kind of cracks the wall off turn 4, and Elliott Sadler leads once again in Darlington. So a couple mistakes in back-to-back corners for Greg Biffle has costed himself the race lead, and just goes to show the lack of grip on this racetrack. It's how easy it is to give that back up. "100 laps complete." Now we'll see if Sadler can get around this group of lap traffic. Stuck behind Jeff Green through turns 1 and 2. Biffle's got a big run down the backstretch. Into turn 3 they go. Biffle takes it 3 wide. He gets a little sideways. Sadler almost makes contact up high with Jeff Green. He was trying to get Biffle room down on the bottom, but Biffle just overdrove the corner. Really just trying to trap the 38 car, who's struggling to get around Jeff Green in the 43 right now. Sadler finally clears him through 1 and 2. There's a lot more lap traffic, though, where that came from. Biffle overdrives 3. Drifts up the track a little bit again. And don't look now, but Jimmy Johnson, from seemingly out of nowhere, has caught the leaders. Johnson showing some long run speed. Wasn't really in contention for it all night up to this point, despite running in the top 4 all race long, but he has caught the leaders. It's not like these two have battled, you know, relentlessly side by side with each other, but I think Johnson's just getting through the lap traffic better than both the 16 and the 38 are. And the biggest pack of lap traffic yet is still to come. Look at that mess in turns 1 and 2 right now. They're just getting off the exit of turn 2 as Sadler, Biffle, and Johnson are in the middle of the corner. 3 wide. Sadler about made contact with the lap car on his outside. Biffle's trying to pinch Sadler again. 3 wide. Into turns 3 and 4. Is this going to work? Off the exit of turn 4. Still side by side for the lead. Biffle leads that lap at the line. This is close quarters racing at Darlington, and Sadler just able to hang on the outside lane. You got to give credit to Elliott Sadler. A great clean racing by both drivers on this tight racetrack. A great battle for the lead. Oh, Biffle earns another Darlington stripe. And 3 and 4, no attempt to be able to make a pass there. He's going to have to try to build some momentum back up again now. The right front's starting to wear down to the 16, so that's not going to help. Sadler pit at lap 160. He might end up pitting before Biffle again, you would think. Biffle's going to take it another 67 laps, so that means he will pit at lap 134 for his second stop. Looks low. Sadler going even lower. Trying to hold on. Mark Martin is in front of Sadler. He might try to help his teammate Biffle out. Biffle is almost there. 3 wide again. They've made it without contact, going 3 wide so far tonight. I don't know how much more they can go, but it looks like they'll make it through 3 and 4 this time. What a power move by Greg Biffle. Though he has not cleared Sadler yet off of turn 4. Still side by side. Another lead change with Biffle leading the lap at least. Biffle trying to slide up in front of Sadler, but again, Sadler's so strong on the outside. Biffle wants to shut the door, and he does down the backstretch. A little loose into turn 3, but he hangs on. Crossover by Sadler. Biffle barely keeps it off the wall. This is a great battle. And these two really can't be much cleaner with one another either. My championship pick is Chase Elliott this season. Welcome to the stream as well, Brian. Yeah, that's my preseason prediction, is Chase Elliott to win the championship. We'll see if I'm right. Biffle gonna try to trap Sadler behind one of these lap cars. There's a lot of them in the mix. Oh, he gets into him. A little bump and run in turns 3 and 4. Well, I guess that's one way to get back to the lead. Wasn't trying to get into him, he just got into him. So everybody's struggling for grip right now, late on a tire stint on a rough and bumpy Darlington surface. Making it challenging on these drivers. Jimmy Johnson's still sitting in 3rd place. No lap cars between him and Sadler anymore, though. I'm sure Jimmy would like to get up here and get to the lead as soon as he can to try and lead his first lap. Don't forget, though, that Dale Jarrett blew an engine early in this race. And I only say that because Sadler is also a Robert Yates Racing driver and has that Yates engine under the hood of his race car, just like Jarrett. Obviously, there's never a guarantee you're going to make it to the end of any race. But as fast as the 38 car is, you wonder if that engine has to be a ticking time bomb. Good news is, it's only a 400-mile race. There's not too many of these in this time period in NASCAR. And the speeds aren't ridiculously high at Darlington either. So maybe that'll be a little bit of a saving grace. Well, you just have to wait and find out. It's still just shy of the halfway mark. Well, the problem with the Clash being the dirt races, that would kind of take away from Dirt Bristol, in my opinion, because I don't want any more than just one, maybe 2 dirt races at the most. That is at the very most. Sadler to the bottom. Biffle getting picked, and he gets in the wall off turn 4. Biffle struggled on that outside lane when he's had to try and hold it. Sadler used Sterling Marlin as a pick to get around the 16 of Biffle. Well, Quaffel's not in the... Oh, wait. Is he in this game? I can't remember. Well, he's in the Truck Series, but I don't think he is in the Cup Series in this game, though. Quarter tank of fuel left for Biffle. There's really no lap cars in front of Sadler anytime soon. See if Biffle could get around him outright now. Really good through 1 and 2. We'll try to side draft the 38. Big time side draft. On corner entry, just can't quite clear him off of turn 4. Sadler again has been good up on the outside lane. It's been tough to clear in this one. Still side by side through 1 and 2. Biffle a little sideways, walks up the track, just kept it off the 38. Some lap cars coming into the pits that last lap. Sadler leads that lap at the line. Jimmy Johnson closing in as these two have been side by side for about 2 full laps. Biffle slides clear. Off turn 2 on Elliott Sadler. And we'll see if Sadler will pit now that he's lost the lead. He's looking low. I think he may be coming in this time. No, he's not. He's actually just trying to look to get back to the lead, but Biffle shuts the door off turn 4. So 1, 2, and 3 under a blanket coming into the second set of pit stops. Biffle's going to pit at lap 134. We know he's going to stay out as long as he can. Sadler's already stayed out a couple laps longer than what he went on the first run. And Sadler will pit now at lap 122. Johnson stays on the racetrack. He'll take over second as Biffle continues to lead. I think Johnson came into the pits that time by. I saw him go down to the apron into turn 3, so he is in pit lane. And Biffle will hope that maybe we see our first caution of the race. Between now and the next 10 laps, while he leads. It's going to be tough to catch Sadler in laps led with how fast the 38 car is and how many laps he was able to lead at the beginning of the race. I mean, he has probably led over 90 laps in this race up to this point, at least 80 at the very least. And Biffle's pretty much led every lap that Sadler has. Those have been the only 2 leaders so far. Although Johnson has been threatening to take that lead away from him here recently, he still has not done it. But now that Johnson was within striking distance, he had a pretty good stop last time through. He did pit about 2 laps after Sadler did, so may lose some time to the 38. We'll have to wait and see who will win the race out of the pit lane this time around. 145 car right in front of Greg Biffle, and he's holding him up. He's got a little bit fresher tires, but doesn't have that fast of a race car. Biffle can't get underneath him. Eighth of a tank of fuel left for the Biff. Oh, there we go. Got the 145 loose. With the intimidation button off of turn 4, kind of like he did with Brian Vickers earlier on. And that finally cleared a pathway for Biffle to be able to lap the 145 again. Bad enough that Biffle's on older tires right now, giving up time to Sadler and Johnson, who have already pitted, but getting held up by the lap car wasn't helping either. And sure enough, we were just talking about that guy holding us up like Vickers earlier, and Vickers is the next lap car in front of Biffle. I don't know if Biffle's going to get to him or not, considering that Vickers just came out of the pits, and he does have a top 10 race car, so I don't think that Biffle's going to be able to actually run him down here, but we'll see. Maybe he's falling way off of the pace as we get closer to the halfway mark. We're going a bit wide, almost got in the wall. Scraped the wall a few times already tonight. Twice in turns 1 and 2, and a couple more times on that in 3 and 4. "11 likes on the stream. Had about a dozen people watching at one point. Actually, a dozen watching right now. So thanks for everybody tuning in on this Tuesday night. Again, last live stream for 8 days. We'll be down in Daytona, and then we'll only be able to live stream twice next week as well. The 2 days I'm home before I leave for Auto Club the following Friday. So join while they last, but a lot of at-track coverage for both race weekends coming up on the channel. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff at the track than just the race highlight videos this season, so be on the lookout for that. Upping it up a notch with the actual NASCAR coverage, as well as still throwing in these video game stuff on the side. All in the hopes of becoming a commentator one day down the road in NASCAR, so I got to start putting myself out there publicly on more than just these live streams. Biffle made a great catch of the race car that time. Overdrove the entry into turn 3. I guess he did overdrive it, he just didn't put it in the wall, luckily. Yeah, he's definitely not going to catch Vickers before he has to pit. Biffle will be pitting next time by. He'll stay out one more lap. It'll be 67 laps just like the last run. Biffle will head down onto the apron into turn 3. He'll pit this time by. Again, 70 miles per hour is the pit road speed limit at every track in this game. Biffle gets down easily. 4 tires, full tank of fuel, and no adjustments for the 16 of Biffle once again. So 2 pit stops and no adjustments during both of them for the 16 team. They've made a couple errors recently. The Butch shootout, they had a bad stop. The Jackman fell over. Then the Jackman also fell over during the Daytona 500 under a pit stop under green flag conditions. That was also a right side tire stop. So the 2 tire stops have been actually trickier than the 4 tire stops for this crew so far this season. 1 for 1 tonight. Let's see if they can go 2 for 2. So far, so good. And they'll drop the jack on the left side. So Biffle will roll out of his pit box and back onto the raceway. Johnson to the lead for the first time today. Sadler second. Biffle should cycle in third. Man, cold tires coming out of the pits as he gets a little sideways. He'll still remain in third, but you can see how much time he lost staying on the track, about 10 laps longer than Johnson, about a dozen laps longer than Sadler. But now Jimmy Johnson leads for the first time tonight, our 3rd different leader of the race. Lost count of how many lead changes we've had because Sadler and Biffle changed the lead quite a few times during that last tire stint. But Biffle's 3.3 seconds off the lead. He's got some catching up to do here. The good news is he has about 10 to 12 lap fresher tires. On this surface, actually means quite a bit. Again, they'll even out over a point in time. It's probably going to be a good 20 to 25 laps before that happens. Now you just got to get through the lap traffic pretty well. So far tonight, really, the top 3 have probably been the best 3 at getting through the lap traffic. But even they have struggled at times with this narrow track, narrow width especially in the corners. I mean, it's narrow even on the straightaways, as we've seen. We've seen a lot of 3-wide action, though, during that last run, and really there was no contact with anybody when it happened. I don't know if they're going to be able to keep that up into the second half of the race or not. We'll just have to wait and see if those moves will continue to be pulled off and if they will work to the extent that they did so far. We'll alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. About the next dozen laps. At the Lady in Black. Johnson won the Budweiser shootout, but he hasn't won a points-paying race so far this season, though, again, we're only a few races in, so I can't really blame him. 3 races in, and Biffle's won 2. Tony Stewart won the Daytona 500. Looks like Robbie Gordon's going to give plenty of room to Greg Biffle down on the bottom. Biffle will complete the pass. Goes a bit wide. Oh, contact with Gordon on the way back down. Biffle thought he might have been clear, forced the issue a little bit. I think it wasn't major contact. Both drivers kept it off the wall, and for the most part, actually stayed fairly stable. I think they're lucky they were on fresher tires. Definitely helped. You just see the car moving around quite a bit in the center of the corner with the bumps through these different camera angles, and that's just natural at this track. Biffle's had a loose ride for about the first third of a run, and then the final 2/3 of the run, it starts to slowly tighten up. He doesn't want to make any adjustments, so I think everybody's pretty much dealing with the same conditions given this racetrack. Good they unloaded fast without any practice or qualifying. And he's back in the 28.5s that last lap. Trying to get around his teammate Jeff Burton. And Burton gives him plenty of room. Biffle's definitely closing on Sadler, who's almost 2 seconds behind Jimmy Johnson now. Johnson pulling away from the 38. After it was Sadler who was pulling away at the very beginning of the race today. Halfway home that last time by here tonight at Darlington. So we are into the second half of the race. Jimmy Johnson leads, followed by Sadler and Biffle, and we haven't really seen who's in fourth for quite some time. It is 3 cars that are the class of the field, and we are still caution-free in this race as well. We'll see if we can stay that way to the very end. It is Darlington. Comment down in the chat below, do you guys think this race will stay caution-free, or I think we'll end up seeing the yellow at some point? For the most part, it has been a lot of clean racing. It's been pretty hard. Drivers knowing when they could take those risks to make the passes and when not to, and they've been fairly tame with each other throughout. As we get later in this race, the intensity picks up closer to the checkered flag, especially for those that might have a chance to win at this famed racetrack. May not see some more of that racing. Everybody's just trying to take care of each other right now. Ryan Newman going to give plenty of room to Biffle as well. Billy says 2 cautions in the second half of tonight's race. Ooh, Biffle, big slide. Felt like the car was getting tight until the rear tires started to slide out from underneath. Newman got back to the inside, but he just doesn't seem to have a lot of power today. Couldn't stay there on Biffle. Biffle had a great run through 1 and 2 as he drives to the inside of Sadler now for second. Trying to side draft down the backstretch into turn 3. Pass is going to be made. Biffle up to second, clearing Sadler off of turn 4. Pretty easily done there. It's about as easy as he's passed the 38 car all night. I wonder if they may have went the wrong way on adjustments during that last set of stops, considering that Johnson passed him and is pulling away from him, and now Biffle just passed him kind of with ease and is pulling away. Even Newman, the lap cars, got back to the inside of Elliott Sadler. Sadler may be struggling with his car for the first time tonight. Biffle's cut the lead down to about a second behind Jimmy Johnson. Johnson was really struggling with the 2 lap cars that are right in front of him. No longer in front of him, but they were in front of him side by side for a couple laps, and that's where Biffle's really able to eat into the lead. That was about the time when Biffle had passed Sadler for second when that happened. Pretty even that last lap between the 16 and the 48, but Biffle had a big slide getting into 3 also. Pushing really hard right now. Trying to get to the 48. He's really struggling on entry into turn 3. Car's getting a little loose at that end of the racetrack still. Having a hard time trying to drive it off on the bottom and keep it there into the middle of the corner. Might have to start thinking about diamonding the corner off a little bit. Oh, almost got in the wall. Definitely lost some time, though, that lap. Lost about 2/10 to Johnson. So hard to be perfect at this racetrack, corner after corner, lap after lap, and saw that little hiccup by Biffle. He could feel the car going up the track, and he was able to catch it quick enough before he ended up in the wall. Taking care of his equipment so far. That's going to keep the speed in it. Right as I say that, I got a little wide into turn 1. Scrubbing more time away from Johnson. Johnson's got a lot of clean air in front of him, too. Biffle's got 3 more lap cars between himself and the 48. But it's going to be a long time before Johnson catches another lapper. Still 2 more pit stops to the end of the race. Biffle pitted at lap 134. He's been able to go 67 laps through each of the first 2 runs of the race. So we're looking at about lap 201 being the next pit stop for Biffle. And then he should be able to split that final run up to the end of the race then by taking this one all the way to the end. I think he may just have to pit with the leaders on the final stop of the day to try and keep some sort of pace, because pit stop was good. It was just staying out 10 to 12 laps longer than Johnson and Sadler really hurt him. He was 3.3 seconds back. He was trying to get as many laps led as he can to try and catch Sadler for the most laps led today, but Elliott led so many at the beginning. But now you wonder if Jimmy Johnson has a chance at that battle with him leading right now. Contact between Kane and Biffle getting into turn 3. That's what Johnson wants to see out of his rear view. He's still trying to gap the 16. Biffle to the inside of Mears into turn 1. And he'll have Mears cleared before they get into turn 3. So now there's no more lap cars between the top 2. Right back down to a 1 second difference as Mears and Kane battle for the free pass position if we do get a caution as of right now. Knowing that there's no lap cars in the vicinity of Johnson right now, could be an important battle behind the 16 of Biffle. And Kane just passed Mears through 1 and 2 that time, clearing him off the exit of the corner. So he is currently the first car 1 lap down. Case Kane's shown a lot of speed already this season. In fact, was leading late in the Daytona 500 and also leading with less than 50 to go in the second race of the year at the Dodge Raceway, but blew an engine there while leading. Who knows if he would have had a shot to hold off Biffle and Gordon. Instead, it gave Gordon the lead. Biffle got around Gordon, kind of pulled away to the end, but could have been Biffle and Kane battling to the end if Casey did not blow an engine, assuming obviously that could have kept the composure. But not doing so hot right now, at least. Maybe he is position-wise, considering we're caution-free through the first 165 laps of tonight's race. We might actually have quite a few cars a lap down. I wouldn't be surprised if he was running, say, top 15. Yeah, I saw my town that I live in is supposed to get like 1 to 2 inches of rain on Thursday. That's a lot of rain in one day. I'll already be down in Daytona, so I won't be worrying about it. They're supposed to drop to like 11 degrees by the end of Thursday night. It's supposed to be like a high of 53 in the morning until the rain comes in. It's supposed to cool off. I would imagine it's probably going to ice, so the roads are probably going to be pretty slick on Friday morning, I'd have to imagine. But it's a good thing I have vacation. Biffle's still slowly running down Jimmy Johnson. He's got the lead down to about 0.4 of a second. Two to 4 inches of snow for you guys? Yeah, I mean, I would imagine it could turn to snow here. I haven't really looked at like what the temperatures are supposed to be, like when it's supposed to drop off. I'm just I mean, that's a 40-degree temperature change from morning to night. Drop. Not like it was gaining that temperature. Dropping that is crazy. But the wind's supposed to be like 30 miles an hour. I don't know what the gusts are probably a lot heavier than that. It'll be pretty wicked. 60s and 70s, yeah, it's not supposed to be that warm here. It's supposed to be right around 50. Mid-50s. Two to 4 inches and 2 of ice. I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one, Wargiven. Well, Biffle catches Johnson on the backstretch into turn 3. Jimmy will hold on to the bottom lane. Next lap car, Paul Menard coming up fairly soon. Jimmy looked like he skipped up the track off the exit of turn 4 as Biffle got underneath him. Taking advantage of it. And into turns 1 and 2, Biffle is clear of Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy going to look low into turn 3, going to attempt a crossover move. Oh, and he's going to get it because Biffle overdrove the corner. Biffle never officially took the lead. He actually held on to the outside pretty well that time. He hasn't really been able to do that at all today. But as they close in on Paul Menard, Biffle's got to get picked behind Menard. And Johnson will hold on to the lead on the backstretch. Biffle will have to wait behind the 48. Great move by Johnson. Biffle never got a lap let in that transition. And he'll have to try it again. Being aggressive right now, trying to find a way to get underneath the 48. A little tight behind him, though, in 3 and 4. Gonna try to intimidate him. Didn't really work at all that time. It's worked off turn 4 with a couple other drivers. Might be a little harder with young gun Jimmy Johnson. Off the exit of turn 2, Biffle looked a little bit better than the 48 that time. These guys have raced fairly clean all night. Honestly, the 48 and the 16, I don't think have made contact with each other all race. Couldn't really intimidate him that time either. Biffle just trying to force Johnson into a mistake is probably going to be the best way to get around him unless he can pick him behind a lap car, which I wouldn't rule out of the question. We've seen that happen to Biffle, and Biffle's been doing that. I mean, everybody's pretty much been doing it to everybody in this race today. It's the easiest way to probably make a pass at Darlington. Biffle keeps looking for her. He just cannot get to Johnson. Yeah, there is definitely a gaggle of lap cars. You're right. Into turn 4. Biffle trying to get Jimmy loose. It's just not working. He's not able to get enough pressure on the 48 car. Into turns 1 and 2. He's got to run. 3 wide off the exit. Oh, Jimmy is in the wall. He made contact with the lap car off the exit of the corner. Biffle to the lead. Now we got a car blowing up in front of the leader. And is sparking down on the bottom of the racetrack. Man, he's all over the place. See if he can get to the pit lane. And if he does, we'll stay green. We haven't had a caution yet. Johnson made contact with the lap car on the outside as they were 3 wide off the exit of turn 4. And he got into the wall, and Biffle not only takes the lead, but he's about 1.6 seconds ahead of Johnson. Well, he forced Johnson into a mistake. And he's got a lot of clearance now behind him as well. Craig Franklin, Robbie, welcome to the stream. Rain starting tomorrow, ending with 5 to 10 of snow. Oh, man. 103 still didn't make it into the pits. Now he's on his way in. Got green flag pit stop starting up. Ricky Craven working his way into the pit lane. I would assume is a scheduled pit stop. A little early, but another car down on the bottom. I think just coming out of the pits. Matt Kenseth also short pitted. Biffle to the outside of his teammate into turn. Oh my goodness! Kenseth got a little loose on the bottom into 3. I thought he was gonna slide up into his teammate. It definitely scared me for a second. He wiggled quite a bit. I don't know if anybody else saw that. Biffle struggled on cold tires coming out of the pits a little earlier too and kind of did the same thing. I don't know if that's a Roush problem or problem everybody's having. Oh boy. Loose in turn 3. Biffle's definitely struggled on corner entry with turn 3 most of the night. That's probably been where he's his worst area of the racetrack. Squeezing under the lap cars of Kenseth and Perry. Into turn 3, he'll clear Rocky Perry. Perry pulling down into the pit lane. Good thing he had him cleared. So our third set of green flag pit stops because we are still caution-free in this race as we have just over 100 to go. 110 laps left to be exact as of right now. Biffle will not have to pit until lap 201. Oh, he gets into Petty. Overdrove turn 3 and 4 a little bit too much again. Kenseth on those fresher tires all over the back of the 16. Trying to get one of his laps back. Jimmy Johnson is running down Biffle. Biffle's not gotten through this lap traffic well after he pulled away from Johnson. Johnson's eaten about a second of that lead back up over the last maybe dozen laps. Kenseth to the inside of Biffle. Definitely going to hold his teammate up a little bit. Big time block by Biffle. At least he was clear. Squirrely into one as he's just trying to hold on to his car on his old tires too. Jimmy Johnson pit that last time by, so the lead's back up to 3 seconds. Yes, I was at the Southern 500 in 2020. Awesome experience. I highly recommend going to Darlington. One of the best racetracks for overall racing. I mean, it's so... And that was even with the 550 package. But the racing there is great. There's always a battle on the track. It gives you that short track feel for that reason. But those cars are just sliding around that racetrack. Especially on that rough surface right now. I definitely put it in the top 5 of tracks I've been to so far. Honestly, I'd probably put that at either 3 or 4. Oh, Biffle just put it in the wall in turn 3. Mentioned a little bit ago he was struggling on that end of the track, and he struggled trying to get through at that corner and that go around. Front tires in the yellow right now for Greg Biffle. So we'll have 92 laps to go when Biffle pits at lap 201. He's got a 1-lap lead on the field as we continue to stay caution-free. Again, we'll just have to wait and see if we'll stay caution-free. Yes, this is on my PlayStation 2. Kenseth's really been holding Biffle up. Not really anything Kenseth's doing wrong, though. He's got fresher tires. It's not quite as fast, but with the tires he has on his car versus what the 16 of Biffle has on his right now, was still staying out of the pits. That's what's making it so hard for Biffle to not only get around him. He's passed him a couple times now, but he's sliding a lot more around this racetrack as he saw through 3 and 4 again, all the way through the corner. Kenseth was able to close right back in. Biffle's trying to race for the most laps led, and that's why he's staying out as long as he can through the first 3 runs. And he's going to brush the wall again. We'll have to duck in line behind Kenseth on the front straightaway. 100 laps to go at Darlington, this time by, and Greg Biffle is currently the race leader. Eighth of a tank of fuel left yet for the Biff. So this will be the second to last stop and the third total for Biffle at lap 201. Unless we get a caution before that. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Up to 15 likes on the stream right now. If you haven't hit that like button yet, make sure you do so and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Plenty of Speed Week coverage coming up later on in the week. This is the final live stream for the Daytona 500 on the channel. Kenseth and Martin side by side. Ricky Rudd coming out of the pits right in front of him. Oh boy, 3 wide into turns 3 and 4. Right in front of the race leader too. And Rudd was able to pull clear of both Kenseth and Martin in the middle of the corner, thankfully, and they got through all right. Kenseth passes Rudd right back in turns 1 and 2. He gets around Robbie Gordon and his teammate Mark Martin. Trying to get underneath Ricky Rudd now as well. Three more laps away from Biffle's third stop of the day. 2 for 2 without any mistakes so far. Drives under Rudd. See if he can pass him in turns 3 and 4. Rudd on much fresher tires. It's going to be tough for Biffle. Though he gets into him. That's not going to help. Slowing both cars down. And Biffle clears Rudd off turn 2. Oh, jeez. 2 more laps and Biffle will get those fresh tires because he desperately needs them right now. Bounces into the wall a couple times in turns 3 and 4 that last lap, and Rudd gets right back around him to lap 200. Biffle's losing time on these tires. The track he goes, kept it off the wall that time. And next time he gets into turns 3 and 4, he'll be making the big left-hand turn onto pit road, so won't have to go through that corner on old tires on this stint any longer. Biffle will be pitting this time by, and they're going to need a clean stop. Not the money stop yet, but with less than 100 laps to go, we're getting down to the wire. Johnson and Sadler are going to be tough to beat here tonight. Oh, Biffle may miss the pits. Oh, he just got in. Almost nailed the tire barrier at the front of the pit road entrance. I thought he was going to miss it there for a second. That would have been costly. 4 tires and fuel, no adjustments for the 16 of Biffle. That was a scare and a half off of turn 4. One of the most toughest pit roads to get onto in all of NASCAR, and on full display right there. We've seen some guys miss pit road in recent years. A lot of issues with that in the Southern 500 last season in real life, and Biffle had a problem that time around. Or about had a problem. Could it be worth a run out the next stint and then take less fuel with tires on the final stop? Well, taking 4 tires is probably... Even if I took less fuel, I doubt that it's going to make the stop any quicker. Tires are so important here. If I ran the next stint out, we'd still have more than 25 to go, so I'd have to take tires. Keep up with these guys. Biffle trying to get up to speed. Three and a half seconds back with 90 laps to go. Jimmy Johnson has cycled back to the lead once again at Darlington. I don't really keep up with the NASCAR Coke Series. Like, every now and then I'll catch like a replay of like a finish or something on YouTube, but that's pretty much about it. I just don't think it's going to be wise for Biffle to stay out of the pits as long on the next stop. He's been 3.5 seconds behind Johnson twice now coming out of the pits, staying out as long as he can to lead as many laps as possible. That was fine for now. He'll probably have a chance to run him back down again during this run before they get to the next set of pit stops, unless Johnson ends up short pitting before that, because that window will be opening up here in less than 30 laps. We're still caution-free in this one with less than 90 to go. Made for a blistering fast race pace. One of the last racetracks you would think a cup race would go caution-free. But we could see it happening here tonight. Biffle with a little bit fresher tires, trying to eat into a deficit on Johnson. Sadler also, by the way, did come back out in second place again. Elliott Sadler's had just an amazing run tonight. He led a lot of laps early. He's not quite as strong in the second half of the race as what he was in the first half. It's definitely looking like it's between Johnson and Biffle now instead of the 3 of them. I guess if we get a caution, don't count Sadler out of it. That would get him right back in. We'll see if we have any late drama as well. I don't really have a... I don't watch it enough to really know hardly any of the people in the Coke Series, to be completely honest. Like I said, I've never actually watched a full race. I've never actually watched it live. I think they air it on like NBC Sports, don't they? Some of them at least. I don't know if the full season is on it or not. Johnson's got quite a bit of lap traffic in front of him. Allowing Sadler and Biffle to slowly close in. Got around Sadler pretty quick on that last tire stint. We'll see if he can do it here on this one as well. He's going to try to intimidate him in turns 3 and 4. Didn't really work. Wasn't working on Johnson earlier either. Do they live stream it on YouTube? I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I know you can go back and watch it, but I didn't know if it was live on YouTube at all. So do they actually air it live on NBC Sports Network, or is that usually a replay of it? Like a replay of the race a day or two after the fact. YouTube and Twitch. Makes sense. Johnson's still sitting in the middle of the lap traffic. Biffle and Sadler are both within 1.3 seconds. Biffle clears Sadler for second off of turn 2. Don't count Elliott Sadler out of it. Especially if Johnson gets held up long enough. And Biffle battles Johnson long enough. Oh, NASCAR also streams it on YouTube. Yeah, Johnson's been sitting behind that one lap car. He passed, looks like Casey Kane and Brian Vickers pretty quickly. Jamie McMurray is the car that battled him. I guess Johnson's in front of McMurray now. He was behind him for a little while. Now it's time for Biffle to get around these 3 lap cars. Johnson struggled with it. We'll see if Biffle can get through it a lot quicker. Into turns 1 and 2, not really anywhere to go right now. Inside of Casey Kane, a little bit of a scuff mark on the side of the 9 from Biffle. Really squeezed. Try not to waste any time whatsoever. Gets around Vickers clean. Well, I thought Biffle was going to get around him cleanly. He pulled up, kind of self-cleared himself on the front stretch. Wasn't perfect, but I guess he did get around him quick. Oh, that's right. NBC Sports isn't even a channel anymore. There's no way they're going to air that on USA Network. Well, that kind of sucks for iRacing. Unless Fox Sports 1 takes it over. I'd be shocked if they show that on USA Network. Usually middle of the week they have a lot of daily programming going on, so I don't know if that's going to be possible. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Predicting 4 cars on the lead lap. Interesting prediction. Murray's still keeping pace with Jimmy Johnson. He is a lap down. He's trying to get back on the lead lap. Biffle to the inside of McMurray. Biffle to the back of Jimmy Johnson into turn 1. Battle for the lead is on once again with about 73 laps to go at Darlington. Nearly in the final fuel window. It'll open up in about another 6 or 7 laps. Biffle all over the back of Johnson. Jimmy walks up the track off turn 4. Biffle looks low on the front straightaway. Two have raced each other clean all night. And into turns 1 and 2, they are side by side, and Biffle is clear off of turn 2 with a clean pass. Greg Biffle leads at Darlington again. It'll be an official lead change at the line as long as he holds on to it, but he overdrives the corner, but so did Jimmy Johnson. And Jimmy couldn't capitalize on Biffle's mistake as he made a mistake of his own, and Biffle will have the lead. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how many cars I've lapped. You can't really see the positions on the cars as you pass them. Oh, McMurray just got underneath Jimmy Johnson and passed him off of turn 2. He's going to hold Johnson up. He's already been held up enough by McMurray. McMurray trying to hold him up a little more. And you just wonder where Elliott Sadler's at in all this. 70 laps to go. You also just wonder who's going to have the fastest stop. And Johnson's crew has probably been the best all night long. I put Sadler second, Biffle third. Between the cars and their pit crews as well, I mean, as a team collectively, they've been the 3 fastest. 2 Fords and a Chevy. Dodge the only manufacturer to not go to victory lane in the first 3 races of the season. Johnson trying to win his first points race. Sadler trying to get his first overall win of the year. Joshua Rumsey, welcome to the stream. $17 likes. 15 people watching. Smash the like button. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as well. Johnson looking low. Biffle, maybe a little bit of a run off the high side. Big block at the start-finish line, but he was clear. It was a clean one. So 48 and the 16 continue to race each other clean. Johnson trying the outside in turns 1 to 2. Maybe just looking to get a little bit of clean air. Tires wearing on at this point in the run. Biffle's getting a little tight in turn 3. Oh, and loose off the exit of 4. That's never good when you're tight on entry and loose on exit like that. That's tough to fix, especially at a track like Darlington where the corners are so different from one another. There's no symmetrical shape on this track whatsoever. Sadler is closed in. He's running the fastest laps of the top 3 all of a sudden. He's trying to get around McMurray into turn 1. New life for Sadler. They might have went the wrong way on the second pit stop of the race with the adjustments, but the third stop, they definitely look a lot quicker following it. Johnson beats Biffle to the bottom on entry into 3. Door to door, Biffle holds the outside well and again throws a block on Johnson. Biffle's been a lot better trying to hold the outside in the second half of this race. Hasn't made a mistake up there in a while. When he has had a car underneath him. Jimmy nearly bounces into the wall. We got a 3-car race for the win with less than 70 to go at the Lady in Black. Santiago Kid, welcome to the stream. No caution so far. Still caution free at lap 229. Sadler almost gets into the back of the 48. Jimmy wiggles in the middle of the corner. Sadler's going for second. They're door to door down the backstretch. Might allow Biffle to pull away if they start to battle too much with one another. But Sadler, I don't know where the speed has come from out of the 38. But he has charged right back to these guys. He was more than 4 seconds back behind him on the last tire stand, but he was chipping away more and more and more. And all of a sudden, he is looking for the lead on Greg Biffle off of turn 2. Biffle slides into 3. Up the track he goes. Sadler looks low, but Biffle corrects it in time. We've got some cars pitting now with the window open to the end of the race, so some of the field is short pitting. I think Biffle has to pit with Sadler and Johnson. That's going to be the strategy from here on out. These three are going to pit around the same time. Who will be the first to pit? Biffle's just going to let the rest of the cars dictate. He's definitely not going to be the first one to pit. It'll probably be the last of the three to pit, just to make sure. He can lead a few more laps, but he doesn't want to stay out too much longer than him. Well, he's testing it. Thought about going 3 wide. He's stuck with the lap cars side by side in front of him. Nowhere to go. Passing Ward-Burton. Patch for ignition is third. Well, I won't be playing it till next week when I get back from Daytona's. Oh, Biffle gets into the wall. Into turns 1 and 2. Man, he got loose off the exit of turn 2 as well. Picking up another Darlington stripe. Oh, update, not bad. Isn't that the same thing, though? Yeah, Thursday night looks pretty good at Daytona. Right? I mean, honestly, all week, for the most part, looks good. There's nothing more than a 24% chance of rain, so... I mean, if it's less than 50% chance, that means it's more likely to not rain than to rain, so... It's looking pretty good. Obviously, that could change between now and then. But I'm pretty optimistic about it. I'm optimistic 9 times out of 10 anyway. Biffle's halfway on fuel. Top 3 still out on the racetrack. Biffle overdrives 3. Sadler again trying to get to the bottom. Couldn't do it. Slides in line behind the Biff on the front stretch. Oh, Biffle just completely went way too low. And Sadler just blew around Biffle on the outside. That was a terrible corner. Biffle turned way too easily with how loose the car got that time. And now Johnson to the outside as well. So Sadler and Johnson just passed Biffle on the top. And Biffle's back to 3rd. Sadler leads at Darlington. Sadler's got a lot of lap cars in front of him, though. Chance for Johnson and Biffle to try and reel him back in again. Well, if there's multiple big wrecks, I think the first one will be at either the end of stage 1 or end of stage 2 is what I'd have to guess. The end of the stages are usually when we see the accidents on the super speedways in recent years. So that's what I'll guess. I'm gonna guess with 3 laps to go in stage 1. That's my bold prediction for the big one. Biffle got back around Johnson the last lap. To the inside of Joe Nemechek and Terry Labonte. Turns 1 and 2. Four more lap cars in front of Sadler. Biffle better get to him here quickly. Right front starting to wear out on the 16. Top three still have not yet made their final stop. A large portion of the field hasn't made their final stop yet, though, either. Sadler's hung out behind rookie Scott Riggs right now. Finally gets underneath him. Middle of turns 3 and 4. Biffle to the inside of Riggs. Oh, Mike Murphy chopping off the 16. Went extra low in the middle of the corner, hung onto the race car, and he's able to get around Murphy cleanly. Oh, Biffle into the back of Sadler. Sadler checked up behind Robbie Gordon. It's a battle for the lead. 50 laps to go at Darlington. Oh, Sadler goes wide in the center of the corner. Biffle to the bottom. And Greg Biffle will use Robbie Gordon as a pick. Martin Pitts in front of him. That's going to put clean air now in front of the 16. Sadler's still stuck behind Robbie Gordon as Murphy gets to his inside off turn 4. Biffle leads again at Darlington. Oh, trouble! Turn 1, Ricky Rudd, turn right in front of Elliott Sadler. Backs down the racetrack, cautions out for the first time tonight. Hard lick. Head on into the outside wall with no safer barrier for Ricky Craven. And Elliott Sadler got a big piece of the 32 car when he went up the track. Nowhere for Sadler to go. Craven backed it back down in front of Scott Riggs as well. A 3 to 4 car accident bringing out a caution in the middle of green flag pit stops. I'm not sure who has pit and who hasn't. The drivers who have not pit will pit now. And this is the money stop, our first pit stop under yellow, because it is the first caution of the night with less than 50 laps to go. And a hard hit for Ricky Craven. And Sadler's got some nose damage he's going to have to repair under the caution flag. I'm not sure if Johnson pit or not before the yellow. Craven rather was just coming out of the pit lane. We've seen cars get loose into turn 3 coming out of the pit lane all race long, and I think that's what happened and why he ended up turning in front of another race car, another one of the lap cars. And Kevin Harvick will win the race out of the pits. Sadler second, Biffle third. Johnson stays out, and I wonder if Johnson might have been on pit road when the caution waved. If that's the case, then he is good on fuel to the end. Green flag back in the air. Biffle spinning his tires on the restart. Quickly going down to the bottom. Under Jeff Burton. Kevin Harvick leading for the first time in this race. Biffle to the inside of Sadler off of turns 3 and 4. Almost got into Sadler. Sadler really pinched the 16. He didn't want to get stuck behind the lap car at Kenseth. Potential teamwork going on there. What a break for Harvick. He has not been in this thing all race long. He wins the race off of pit road, and he's in a good spot. I think Johnson was a lap down because I believe he had already pitted, and what a tough break for the 48 who had a shot to win. Now taken away with the timing of that caution. That's a risk you have if you short pit, especially at a track less than a mile and a half in length like Darlington has a very long pit lane. Biffle able to use Kenseth, his teammate, as a pick to get by Elliott Sadler. for second place. Harvick working on Jimmy Johnson right now. Clears him on the front stretch. At least Harvick's able to get at least 5 bonus points. I don't know if he's got a car strong enough to keep the 16 and the 38 behind him, though. But he's going to give it his all. Harvick trying to get the win at Darlington. Biffle gets around Johnson into turn 3. Kenseth nearly gets into the back of the 48. And here we go. Battle for the lead is on with 40 to go. Following the restart. Biffle trying to intimidate Harvick. To no avail that time. Oh, Biffle got tight. Up the track he goes. Nearly got into the wall. Johnson's going to get around him. He just let Jimmy go. Biffle knows he's faster than Harvick, so he doesn't want to risk putting it into the wall right now. Sadler trying to get around Kenseth still. Biffle's more worried about the 38 car, but as long as he holds on to second, he feels confident that he'll get around Harvick eventually. I mean, Harvick hasn't even been in the mix all race long. Atlanta's not even wide enough to go 7 wide. Now that the grass is... And they're going to implement a double yellow line rule at Atlanta, too. So I'm guessing the double yellow line's going to be right where the grass was. Biffle wants to intimidate Harvick. I don't think he's close enough behind him yet. The only thing Harvick has going for him is the fact he has the track position and the clean air. So Biffle's car might handle a little bit worse than Harvick. He just doesn't have quite as fast of a car, though, as the 16 and the 38. Biffle needs to get around him quick, though, when he does get to him. He battles too much at the 29. That's going to allow the 38 to close in a lot quicker. Oh, Harvick's loose. He's out of shape. Biffle intimidated him, and Biffle will get to the inside of the 29 because of it. Gonna side draft him on the front stretch now. The intimidation may have worked, but Harvick's holding it strong on the outside. Can Biffle complete the pass? Off of turn 4, he will. Biffle back out in front with 33 to go at Darlington. Harvick back to second. Sadler still in third. And will we stay green to the end of the race? I predict Chase Elliott's going to win more races on road courses this season. I think with the new car and the sequential shifter, it's going to lay into the hands of the really, really best at the road course racing. And although Larson won more than Elliott last season, I don't think he'll be able to replicate that on the road courses this year. I do have Larson winning 1 road course race still, but I have Elliott winning 3. So I think Elliott will be the superior driver on the road courses. But I wouldn't rule out even guys like Austin Cindric. to sneak in a win. I have him winning a road course race this season. Briscoe's really good at Indianapolis. He had 4 top 10s on road courses last year. That's not even counting Indianapolis, where he had a shot to win because he didn't finish in the top 10 in that race because of that penalty late. I say Harvick is staying right there with Biffle. Biffle's not making a mistake, though. He's going to make it hard on the 29 car. I don't think anybody's going to catch any more lap traffic the rest of this race. Oh, Biffle overdrives 3. Hang on a minute. Harvick is on the bottom, and he's going to take the lead. 29 to go, and the 29 car is back out in front for the second time late in the race. Tim Irvin, welcome to the stream. Oh, man, Biffle. Not being helped in that dirty air at all. Although even in the clean air was where he made the mistake. Lost the lead. That treacherous turn 3. Well, Rock's always out in LA. I guess it wasn't hard for him to travel in. He probably didn't even have to go anywhere. But I was shocked to see it, though. Good to see the Rock in the normal Rock ways. The old Rock ways, I should say. Gregson, Hill, Villeneuve, Gralla. Oh, you don't have Biffle making it. I just don't trust the NBM cars, honestly. I just don't think they have the speed, honest. I'd say Timmy Hill misses the 500. Gregson missed it last year, so he's going to be doing everything he can to not miss it this year, but his aggressiveness might get in the way. I think Villeneuve's inexperience, though, honestly, is going to get the best of him. I'd like to see Villeneuve make it because it'd be better for the sport to have an F1 driver in the 500. But it's a new team. And it's a new team with an inexperienced driver as far as NASCAR goes. Cup Series, at least. So I'm going to say that Timmy Hill misses. Villeneuve is going to be right there, too, on the cut line. I think the experience will pay off, even for Gregson in this kind of a situation. Gralla, I think, was in this situation last year, made it in the 500 too, if I remember right. And then Greg Biffle, obviously, has been in this race before. Biffle trying to find his way back around Harvick. Sadler is not keeping up like I thought he was going to. But the 29 is actually keeping a lot better pace than what I thought he was going to also. I mean, that caution might be exactly what he needed to have a shot. Biffle trying to intimidate him again. That's how he got around him the first time. Oh, wow. Both cars went up the track and barely kept it off the wall. That was crazy. They're driving the wheels off of this thing right now. Turn 3 is just treacherous for both Harvick and Biffle right now. 21 to go. I don't want to say it's an upset considering it's Kevin Harvick, but considering that he didn't lead at all until winning the race off of the pit lane during that only caution we had this entire race. Oh no, Biffle's never won the 500, but he's come close a couple times. He does have a win at Daytona in his Cup career too. His first career win in 2003, the Pepsi 400. I think he can have a decent run. I don't think he'll have like a David Reagan kind of level run like he's had the last couple years where he's been top 10 competitive. Same with McMurray. I think, you know, he may cycle up to the front throughout the race, but I think he makes the race and at least has a good showing. Like I said, he may lead a couple laps. And if he gets a top 10, that's a solid run for that team, honestly, but probably 15th to 20th, I feel like, by the finish. Oh, there we go. Got Harvick loose again off turn 4. Not enough for Biffle to get underneath the 29, though. I don't want to say Biffle's running out of time. He still has time, but he got around Harvick because of a mistake earlier. He didn't just drive right around him like he thought he was going to. Oh, and out of the way goes Harvick again, but he holds on to the lead again. Biffle's a lot closer now into turn 1 than what he's been before. Off of turn 2. Trying to get the run. Harvick a lot deeper into turn 3, and he actually held it really well. Oh, but he got loose off turn 4, and here comes Biffle. To the inside with 16 to go. He intimidated Harvick finally just enough that he was able to get to the inside. Harvick again battles hard on the top, but Biffle's clear off of turn 2. Biffle goes up the track. Harvick for the crossover. And again, Harvick is going to get by. Second time Biffle got around him, but Harvick crossed him over in turn 3. They battle like this, then Elliott Sadler's got a shot. Still have 14 laps left. Ty Dillon's gonna wreck 10 cars on the 500. Oh, and there he goes! Well, Biffle got him right back. Another intimidation from Greg Biffle to the 29 of Harvick. Harvick did a great job keeping it off the wall both times Biffle got around him. Biffle back in the lead again. It doesn't work every time, but it has worked a couple times. Biffle just has to keep his head on his shoulders now. 12 to go at the line. Fuel no issue. Tires will continue to wear, but they'll make it. Remember, it was in the early 2000s where Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch had that wild Darlington finish. Are we setting up for something like that late in this race? Oh, Harvick got in the wall off turn 4. A little tight. Now that he's back in the dirty air behind Biffle, he probably can't push as hard on corner entry like he did that time. Oh, the big one doesn't happen on the final lap. I'd like to see a race actually end without a crash on the last lap in the 500. I can't tell you when the last time that's happened. Oh, I guess 2019. There might have been a wreck though on the final lap, but I know it didn't end under caution. I had 3 of the last 4 years though. We've seen at least some sort of a crash on the final lap. Whether it's ended in caution or not, it's been a little different. Like 2018, Dylan turned the 10 of Almirola, but they stayed green. Well, Johnson's a lap down. He pitted before the caution came out, and despite the fact he was in the top 3 all race long, led quite a few laps. Harvick trying to get to the inside of... Sorry, Johnson trying to get to the inside of Harvick. Harvick have anything for Biffle? Biffle pulled him just a bit off of turn 2. Trying to keep it low on the bottom in turn 3. Harvick is definitely able to drive it in a lot harder in turn 3 than what Biffle is. He may try to put the bumper to him. I mean, Biffle raced him clean. He intimidated him a couple times, but he never touched him. Harvick made 2 clean crossovers himself as well. We'll see as it comes down to the end. Biffle can feel the tires skirting in turn 3 again. Harvick a little loose off turn 4. Well, with just 6 laps to go, Greg Biffle has just finally clinched the most laps led, so it came down to the wire, but he will get 10 bonus points tonight for leading the most laps. Johnson and Sadler both led a lot themselves as well. Harvick's led some. They've all been in the final 40 laps. And it was because of the only caution we had. 5 laps to go. Predicting Byron to win the 500. It's a good pick. Logano's a good pick too. Four to go. I mean, Harvick's definitely there. He's going to try the outside at turns 1 and 2. Maybe a setup move to try and have a little bit more speed down the backstretch if he can get the run off the banking. He's been driving it in a lot deeper into turn 3. Biffle can't drive it in as deep as him because he knows he won't be able to stick the corner and hook the bottom. He doesn't want to give up the bottom and make it an easier route for Harvick to make the pass. He's trying to make it as difficult as he can on the 29. Caution comes out now. The race will likely end. Again, lap traffic will not be a factor in the finish. Oh, Biffle goes wide! No! Harvick to the bottom, and he has the lead off of turn 4 with 2 to go. Third time since taking the lead away from the 29 that Biffle just went a little bit wide in turn 3. It wasn't much. Now he's back to having to hope that Harvick makes a mistake, and Biffle goes wide again in turn 3. It's 2 laps in a row. And Harvick's going to lead coming to the white flag. Final lap. No cautions on the final lap. Oh, he got Harvick loose. Harvick got loose in 1 and 2. And Biffle drives underneath him. I didn't know if he was going to have a shot to get there. Final corner, side by side. Biffle on the bottom, Harvick on the outside. As they race their way off of turn 4, Biffle is clear, and he will win with a last lap pass at Darlington. Harvick had it, and then he just got loose in the middle of turns 1 and 2, and Biffle is going to take it away. And he got lucky Harvick got loose, because I don't know if he was going to catch him with how much time he lost in that second to last lap in turn 3 with him getting out of shape himself. And the lack of grip on this worn out, rough and tumbled surface definitely played a factor in this race. We saw Harvick lose the lead a couple times because of stability problems. We saw Biffle lose the lead a couple times because of stability problems. I mean, both drivers did a great job not only keeping it off of one another when that happened, but also keeping it off the wall. That's about as clean of a Darlington finish as you could find with how out of shape these cars were. And Biffle now has won 3 of the first 4 races this season, heading into the Aaron's 499 at Talladega next week. Career win number 4 for Greg Biffle as well. And I should say 2 of the 3 wins have come with this Granger paint scheme on the race car. What a finish. That was shocking. I thought Biffle lost it when he lost the lead and then made the mistake with 2 to go. He lost the lead with 3 laps left because of a mistake in turn 3. Then he made another mistake, but then Harvick made an even bigger mistake in 1 and 2 when he had about a 3-car length lead. Just got out of shape, got intimidated. And Biffle will have a max points day for not only winning the race, but of course leading the most laps. 2 hours, 28 minutes total time on this one. 106 laps led for Greg Biffle of the 292 laps total. Kevin Harvick led 30 laps, all in the final 40 to get the second place finish. Tony Stewart will finish 3rd, a quiet but good day for him. Dale Jr. ends up finishing 4th. And Bobby Labonte rounds out the top 5. We only had 6 cars finish on the lead lap. Jimmy Johnson led 62 laps, finished first car lap down in 7th. He got trapped a lap down, as did most of the field, with that lone caution with less than 50 laps to go in the middle of the final green flag pit stops of the race. Jeff Gordon ends up finishing in 8th, Matt Kenseth 9th, and Jeff Burt will round out the top 10. I'm not sure where Elliott Sadler fell at the end of the race. He didn't even finish in the lead lap. I think his engine might have expired. Because we saw Dale Jarrett blow an engine early in the race, and I wondered if Sadler was going to be able to make it to the end, and I don't think he did. Oh, you know what? I think Sadler DNF'd in that, No, he did restart. Never mind. But he was involved in that accident when Ricky Craven got turned into the wall. Sadler hit him pretty hard in the right side of the car, and I would not be surprised if the damage he sustained during that wreck ultimately had expired that engine off the restart. So we've seen that in some of the first couple races this season where cars that were involved in an accident survived the accident itself, but then ended up going on to DNF a little bit later. Between that and the engine issues that Dale Jarrett had, it was kind of a double whammy on Sadler, who led 94 laps today. Again, Biff only led the most laps by 12 laps over Sadler. But both the Robert Yates cars failed to finish this one. Only 3 DNFs. And just that one caution, Craven was involved in it. He ended up finishing in 39th, about 5 laps down. 4 down, excuse me. DNF machine, Elliott Sadler. Hey, that's his first of the season. I'm not correlating last season with this season. I don't think he'll have that many this year, although we never know. We'll have to wait and see. What a finish. What a race to round out our live streams for the week. I'll be going to Daytona, leaving tomorrow morning. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your week. I'll be covering the action at the Daytona International Speedway throughout the course of Speed Week, so tune in. Have that bell notification button on so you guys don't miss any future uploads throughout the course of the week. and it'll be a fun one. I'll be back with the next live stream next week on Wednesday. Not sure exactly what game it will be, but next Wednesday, I have to work that Wednesday. I come back, but that will be the next planned live stream. That'll be my first full day back at home. So enjoy the 500 this weekend. Enjoy yourselves and all the great racing that Daytona will have to offer. And be tuned for some predictions, post-race analysis, highlights, and much more for the Daytona International Speedway this week. Have a good rest of your week, everybody. I'll see you in 8 days.